The following is transcribed.
Welcome to Condensed Bat-Supe. Now with 66% fewer superheroes than our regular podcast, which makes Condensed Bat-Supe even less nutritious, but still just as delicious. We're featuring episodes of The Adventures of Superman without the caped crusaders. Tie on your capes for lots of desperate planning, plenty of urgent searching, and medical miracles galore! In this edition of Condensed Bat-Supe, we're bringing you the next two chapters of the Hate Mongers Organization, part of a broader series of adventures known as the Unity House Stories. Next up is Chapter 3, titled Danger Signals, as originally broadcast on April 18th, 1946.
Kellogg's Pep! P-E-P, Pep! Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, presents The Adventures of Superman. Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Today, Superman, mighty man of steel, sets out to perform a miracle in an effort to snatch from the jaws of death the life of Danny O'Neill, youthful victim of the forces of intolerance.
Say, Rusty, did you know my cousin Doris is sick in bed?
Hey, that's a shame.
Well, she's just got a cold and won't be out for a few days, but I've been trying to figure out something to get her to play with to help pass the time.
Oh, yeah, that's a swell idea. Let's see. Say, I've got it. Buttons.
Buttons?
Sure, Doris is collecting that new second series of comic buttons from packages of Kellogg's Pep, same as we all are. We'll send her some more.
Yeah, Rusty, but I
well,
don't
we'll
see...
take up a collection. Every kid can give up a duplicate button.
But you kids have been swapping duplicates to get more for your own collection.
Well, it won't hurt any of us to give up one apiece for Doris while she's sick.
Well, how you gonna know which comic buttons Doris needs?
Oh, you find out from her mother. This'll be a surprise. But I know for sure she needs a Superman, and I've got an extra one. I'll start it off with that.
Hey, that's mighty swell, Rusty. Mighty thoughtful and generous, too. Because any fellow or girl, anytime, is doggone glad to add more of these new second series comic buttons to their collections. They're so smart-looking, really on the beam. Why, those pictures of your favorite comic strip characters look so real they could almost talk. It's a load of fun swapping duplicates with your friends, too. And are these buttons easy to get? You don't send in a single penny, not even a box stop. You just ask Mom to get you plenty of Kellogg's Pep. Inside every package you open, there's your thrilling prize. Remember, that's P-E-P, Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, made by Kellogg's of Battle Creek.
And now, The Adventures of Superman. Convinced that the city of Metropolis is about to be swept by a wave of terror growing out of an organized attempt to promote religious and racial prejudice, Superman, in his guise of Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter, has called a special night meeting in the office of Editor Perry White at the Daily Planet. It is a little after 9 when Kent, hurrying through the now deserted city room, opens the door of White's office to find Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, and the gray-haired editor waiting for him.
Well, I must say, I thought you were never coming out.
I'm sorry I'm late, but I couldn't help it.
All right. Never mind the excuses. What's this all about, Kent?
Well, mind if I catch my breath, Chief?
You'll catch something else if this isn't important. I had a date tonight, but Jimmy said that
It's important, Lois, very important. Last night, as you know, 7 stores on Morton Street were burned down. The fire was started by 2 boys, one of whom has been identified.
Where did that information come from?
A young friend of Jimmy's, a boy named Danny O'Neill, who happened to see the 2 kids break the window of Dave Hoffman's drugstore and start the fire. He recognized one of them, a kid known as Muggs.
Why didn't he go to the police?
Wait a minute, Lois. Danny was afraid to go to the police because, as he said, Muggs was a tough kid, and, well, if he found out Danny had snitched, he'd beat him up.
Good heavens.
When Danny got home this evening, Muggs and another boy were waiting for him in the hallway of his tenement house. They beat him up so badly that he's now in the Metropolis Hospital, hovering between life and death.
Kent, you're not serious.
Dead serious, Chief.
You mean to tell
Wait a
me
minute, you haven't heard anything yet.
Jimmy and I were at the hospital. It was about 8, wasn't it, Jim?
Yeah, just about.
Did you see the boy?
Just for a moment or two. But we met his priest, Father Sheehan from St. Mary's.
Well, I know Father Sheehan.
Well, he told us what was behind the Morton Street fire, Danny O'Neill's beating, and whatever may follow.
What do you mean, Clark?
Well, here it is in a nutshell. About a month ago, Father Sheehan, Rabbi Stone, the Reverend Dr. Leeds of the Congregational Church, and 3 laymen formed a committee to raise money to build a gymnasium and playground for youngsters of the neighborhood.
Yes?
They were going to call it Unity House and open its doors to every youngster in the neighborhood, regardless of race or religion.
Darn good idea.
And that's what they thought. But the minute it was announced, they all received threatening letters, warning them to give up the idea if they wanted to stay healthy.
Who wrote the letters?
Oh, they were anonymous, but they evidently came from hate mongers. Father Sheehan believes it's an organization attempting to stir up trouble between different races and religions.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me one bit. What's this all got to do with the Morton Street fire?
Yes, you said 2 boys were responsible for the fire.
Well, Muggs and his companion did the actual damage, but there was someone behind them, whoever wrote the threatening letters. And unless we take action, this thing's going to spread. Dave Hoffman was the first, but he won't be the last.
The only action to take is to have the police pick up those 2 hoodlums.
No, Chief, no. I had a long talk with Inspector Henderson. If the police arrest Muggs and the other boy, whoever's behind them will run for cover. No, what we've got to do is use Muggs to get to the higher-ups. Henderson has agreed to lay off long enough to test my plan.
And what's your plan?
Well, it depends on Jim.
What? On me?
Yes. You see, my idea is to have Jim pose as a tough little hoodlum, scrape up an acquaintance with Muggs, and get into his gang.
Are you mad,
Are you crazy,
Clark?
Kent?
How do you feel about it, Jim?
Well, gosh, I don't know.
Why, it's ridiculous. Why, Jimmy is just a boy,
I won't
Clark.
permit it,
Oh,
Kent.
wait just a minute. To begin with, you both seem to forget that Jim doesn't run copy anymore. He's a reporter, and he's grown up. In addition, he'll have plenty of protection.
Police protection?
No. The protection of Superman.
Superman?
That's right.
What are you trying to pull, Kent?
Not a thing, Chief. I've already contacted Superman, and he's more than anxious to help.
Well, if that's the case,
I
why...
still don't think Jimmy should be exposed to any danger,
Could
Chief.
I say something, please?
Sure, go ahead, Jim.
Well, I just want to say that even if Superman wasn't going to help us, if Mr. Kent said it was all right for me to do it, I'd do it.
Good boy, Jim.
Clark, I think you're making a big mistake. Why, if anything happens to Jimmy, you'll be the sorriest man I ever saw.
Hold it. Hello? Who? Yes, he's here. Just a minute. For you, Kent.
Oh, thanks. Hello? Oh, yes, Father.
Father Sheehan, it's about Danny.
What was that? Yes? Yes? When did it happen?
He's dead. Danny's dead.
I see.
Wait a minute, Jimmy.
And he's the only one, eh?
Jimmy, just a minute. You know.
Uh-huh.
Jimmy, just...
Yes, I understand. Well, I'm not so sure of that, Father. We may be able to do something. Will you stand by at the hospital? I'll be in touch with you. Right. Goodbye.
What is it, Clark?
It's about Danny.
Yes, he's taken a bad turn.
Can't they do anything for him?
Evidently not. He needs a delicate brain operation, and there's only one surgeon in the country who can do it.
Well, what are they waiting for? Get him.
I've got $100 saved up, Mr. Kent.
No, it's not a matter of money, Jim. It's a matter of time and distance. The surgeon they need lives in Chicago, and unless Danny's operated on within, well, at the outside, 2 hours, it's worth the chance.
What's worth the chance?
Nothing.
Who are you calling, Kent?
Huh? Oh, the hospital.
Well, you just said
Just
that
a
you...
minute, Lois, please. Hello, Metropolis Hospital? It's urgent that I speak with Father Sheehan immediately. Well, I think you'll find him somewhere on the 5th floor. That's right. And tell him Clark Kent is calling, will you? Thank you.
Oh, what are you going to do, Mr. Kent?
Save Danny's life if I can, Jim.
But, Clark, if the surgeon is in Chicago and the operation must be performed within 2
Hello?
hours, I don't...
Father Sheehan? Clark Kent. Yes, look, can you give me the full name of that Chicago surgeon? Well, get me his address, too, if you can. I'll hold on. Sorry, what were you saying, Lois?
I was just saying that if the operation has to be performed within 2 hours, what's the use of even bothering
Excuse
with
me.
it?
Hello? Yes? Dr. Ernest C. Henley. Uh-huh. That's C as in Charles? Right. Henley. You can't get the address? All right, well, never mind. Now, look, Father. It's 9:15 now. You tell him to get Danny up to the operating room and have him ready. Dr. Henley will be at that hospital before 11.
Mouths agape, Perry White, Lois Lane, and Jimmy Olsen listen as Clark Kent promises to transport a famous Chicago brain surgeon 1,000 miles in less than 2 hours. We know, of course, that he intends taking action as Superman. But even Superman may fail this time. We'll know more in a moment when we return for the tense and exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
You know, gang, there aren't many prizes, or such dandy prizes, that you can get as easy as those new second series comic buttons that now come in packages of Kellogg's Pep. Why, you don't have to spend a single penny of your allowance, and yet you can have the fun of collecting 18 different buttons, each one with a true-to-life picture of one of your favorite comic strip characters. It's no end of fun to add to your collection every time Mom opens a new package of Pep. Fun to swap duplicates with your pals, too. And mighty exciting to wear all your buttons pinned on your jacket or dress or cap so everybody can see how many you've collected. And did I say these new second series comic buttons are easy to get? Why, you don't send in any money, not even a buck stop. All you do is to ask Mom to get you some Kellogg's Pep. Then look inside the package for your prize. Get your comic buttons, gang, from P.E.P. Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, made by Kellogg, the greatest name in cereals.
And now, back to the adventures of Superman. With only a brief 2 hours in which to save young Danny O'Neill's life, Clark Kent and his true identity of Superman has streaked from Metropolis to Chicago, a distance of 1,000 miles, in search of Dr. Ernest Henley, a famous brain surgeon. We join him now as once more in the garb of the mild-mannered, bespectacled newspaper reporter. He has tracked him to a medical meeting.
We have discovered that a cancerous agent, which we call a milk factor, can be transmitted. We definitely believe that the milk...
Now, what can I do for you, young man?
I understand Dr. Ernest Henley is at this meeting. It's urgent.
I'm sorry. Dr. Henley opened the meeting and left. That was about 8:30.
Oh, Lord. Have you any idea where he went?
Why, no. Wait. He did say something about joining his wife at the theater. They had tickets for a play.
What theater, do you know?
I'm afraid I don't know.
How many theaters are there in Chicago?
Well, now, let me see. There's the Civic, the Blackstone,
Yes.
Great Northern, the Schubert, the Studebaker.
Excuse me, can you tell me whether Dr. Ernest C. Henley is in this theater?
Henley?
Yes.
Just a moment. Baker, Gray, Bryan, Richards. Sorry, if he is, he didn't leave his name at the box office.
Dr. Ernest C. Henley?
Miller, Levine, Roberts, Dunn. Sorry.
Dr. Ernest C. Henley, please.
Jeffries, Carson, Cohen. Sorry.
Dr. Ernest C. Henley.
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 Respiration, 22. Pulse, 86.
More oxygen.
Doctor, isn't there anything we can do for the boy?
I'm afraid not, nurse.
What about that telephone call Father Sheehan got from the newspaper reporter?
That Henley would be here by 11?
Yes.
The man's crazy. I knew it was stupid when we moved the boy up here to the operating room. It's 11:15 now. Henley's 1,000 miles away. And this youngster's life is ebbing out each time the clock ticks.
Evidently, Superman has failed to locate the Chicago brain surgeon, the one man in the country whose skilled fingers may save young Danny O'Neill's life. And with that failure, the entire plan to ferret out the breeders of hate responsible for Danny's condition will collapse like a house of cards. For if the little newsboy dies, the rats will run for cover. Don't miss tomorrow's tense, exciting episode entitled The Fight for Life. Be sure to follow Superman's greatest battle, the battle against hate and intolerance. So join with him tomorrow, same time, same station.
And remember, for breakfast, it's Kellogg's Pep.
For excitement, it's the adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Comic Magazine and is brought to you Monday through Friday by Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal. Say, if you want your dog to tag right along with the gang, if you want him to be strong and husky, don't let him eat just to fill up. Mix his scraps of meat and fat in with Kellogg's Grow Pup dog food. Then just see if you don't get congratulations on what a fine dog you have. Grow Pup has what it takes to help keep a dog hitting on all fours, and it's full of swell, meaty flavor dogs like. Besides, there are 3 different kinds of Grow Pup: Grow Pup Ribbon, Grow Pup Meal, and Grow Pup Pellets. Ask Mother to start feeding your dog Kellogg's Grow Pup today. And be sure to be with us tomorrow for the thrilling adventures of Superman. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
And now, faster than a speeding bullet, Condensed Bat-Supe proudly presents the next chapter of the Hate Mongers Organization storyline. The episode titled The Fight for Life, which was originally broadcast on April 19th, 1946.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P, Pep. Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman. Today, Superman performs a modern miracle, but is forced to stand by helplessly, praying for a medical miracle to save the life of Danny O'Neill, youthful victim of intolerance.
You know, gang, one of the best things about this new second series of comic buttons Kellogg's Pep is putting out is you keep right on having fun. Yes, sir. This isn't something you do in a minute and then forget. You get loads of fun for weeks and weeks. First off, it's mighty exciting to see which button is inside when Mom opens a new package of Pep. Maybe it's a second series button you don't have yet. Maybe Uncle Willie or Emmy from Moon Mullins. Maybe Hans or Fritz. Maybe even Superman himself, complete with cape and Superman insignia. But if it's a duplicate, that's even more fun, because then you can scout around and see which one of your pals has a different button to swap with you. And then you have another gleaming, bright-colored comic button to pin on your jacket or your dress or cap. Now, it's a cinch to collect all 18 different buttons in this brand new series. All you do is to ask Mom to get you a package or two of Kellogg's Pep and look inside the package for your prize. Remember, you can't buy these comic buttons, and you don't send in any money, not even a box top. They come only as prizes in packages of P-E-P, Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, made by Kellogg's of Battle Creek.
And now, the adventures of Superman. Veiled threats, unsigned notes of warning, and harsh anonymous voices over the telephone have for weeks heralded an organized attempt to spread hate and prejudice throughout the city of Metropolis. Then, in the darkness of the night, the first dirty, underhanded blow was struck. A disastrous fire that destroyed 6 buildings on Morton Street. The following day, Danny O'Neill, a young newsboy who had been an accidental eyewitness to the starting of the fire, was cruelly beaten. In the Metropolis Hospital, he was found to require a delicate brain operation. But the only surgeon who might perform the operation with any chance of success was in Chicago, 3 hours away by the fastest plane. As Superman, Clark Kent streaked west. Learning that Dr. Henley, the surgeon, had gone to the theater, the Man of Steel, once more in the guise and garb of Clark Kent, began a tour of the Chicago theaters. Desperate now, with precious minutes ticking away, we find him inquiring at the box office of the Lyric Theater, where a musical comedy is playing.
I beg your pardon, but can you tell me whether Dr. Henley, Dr. Ernest Henley, is in this theater? Doctors usually leave their names at the box office in case of an emergency call, don't they?
Yes. Just a moment.
Thank you.
Now, let's see. What was that name again?
Henley, Ernest C. Henley.
Bainbridge, Lewis, Cone, Havemeyer, Henley. Yes, he is here.
Oh, thank heaven. What's his seat number?
I don't know.
What?
He didn't leave it with me. He got here after the first act curtain went up, and all he did was stop and tell me his name, Dr. Henley.
Well, how can I locate him?
Well, you'll have to wait till intermission.
I can't wait. I've got to be back in Metropolis in 10 minutes.
What did you say?
I said that Well, never mind. I'm going in to find Dr. Henley.
Hey, wait a minute. Come back here. The show's on.
That's too bad.
Stepping into the theater, Clark Kent avoids the usher who approaches him, hurries down the island. Once he reaches the orchestra pit, turns and faces the audience, raising his hands for attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. Your attention. I'm sorry to have to interrupt the show, but this is a matter of life and death. Is Dr. Ernest Henley in the theater?
I'm Dr. Henley.
Dr. Henley, would you please meet me in the lobby at once? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. On with the show.
Hurrying back up the aisle, Clark Kent reaches the lobby just as Dr. Henley, obviously puzzled, emerges from the theater.
I'm terribly sorry to have to do this, Dr. Henley, but as I said, it's a matter of life and death. My name is Clark Kent. I'm a reporter on the Metropolis Daily Planet, and I've got to...
Oh, just a moment, young man. Not so fast.
It's got to be fast, Doctor. A youngster is dying in the Metropolis Hospital, and you're the only one who can possibly save him.
Did you say Metropolis?
Yes, you've got to be there within half an hour.
Young man, are you out of your mind? Metropolis is 1,000 miles from Chicago.
Well, I've arranged all that.
You've arranged what? I'm not Superman, you know.
No, but I've arranged for Superman to fly you to Metropolis.
You what?
Well, there isn't time to explain now. Are you ready to leave?
Well, I don't know. My hat and coat, they're in the check room.
Well, get your hat and coat and wait in the stage door alley outside the theater. Superman will meet you there, but make it fast, please.
Yes, but good heavens, this is the most
Dazed
amazing
and confused,
thing
the famous brain surgeon, following Clark Kent's instructions almost automatically, re-enters the theater. A minute later, he emerges again, wearing his hat and coat. And there on the sidewalk, waiting for him, is the Man of Steel, resplendent in blue costume and red cape.
Superman.
At your service, Doctor. And I think we'd better get going. Time is growing short. Are you ready?
Why, yes, I suppose so.
Good. Under my arm, then. That's it. Now, up, and away!
Leaping high above the city of Chicago, Superman hovers for a moment in curious flight, takes a bearing from the stars, and heads east, carrying the one man who may have it within his skilled power, not only to save the slowly ebbing life of young Danny O'Neill, but at the same time to strike a blow at whoever is behind the murderous attempt to build up the fires of hatred. 2 hours later, as the clock in the Metropolis Bank Tower strikes midnight, we find Clark Kent and Jimmy Olsen at the now deserted office of the Daily Planet.
Tell me again how Superman brought Dr. Henley from Chicago, Mr. Kent.
Well, if I've told you once, Jim, I've told you a dozen times. At 10:30, we were in Chicago. At 10:50, Dr. Henley was at the Metropolis Hospital.
Oh, who's we?
Dr. Henley and Superman.
Oh, you said we like you were Superman.
Oh, did I? Yeah, that sounds silly, doesn't it?
Yeah, kind of. I think we ought to call the hospital again. It's midnight.
Now, we can't keep calling every 10 minutes, Jim.
Yeah, I know, but it's been an hour since Dr. Henley started operating.
I know.
It's an awful long time.
Well, brain operations are very delicate things. They take lots of time. We've done all we can do, Jim. Everything humanly possible. The rest is in the hands of God. If Danny pulls through, and I'm praying he will, we're going right ahead with our plan to get to whoever's behind all this hate-spreading campaign. Muggs and the other kid aren't important. They're just tools. Someone higher up is using them. And that'll be your job, Jim. To get to the higher up through Muggs and his gang. You think you can handle it?
Well, I don't think I know. You just tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Good boy, Jim.
Now, could we call the hospital?
All right. Go ahead. Get Miss Williams, the head nurse. I'll speak to her.
Okay.
Remember, this is the last call tonight. If there's no news, you're going home to bed.
Oh, gosh, Mr. Kent, I couldn't sleep. Honest, I couldn't.
Now, look, Jim, you've got to be sensible about this. Sitting here worrying isn't going to get
down. Metropolis Hospital? I'd like to speak to Miss Williams, the head nurse. Mr. Kent's calling. Mr. Kent of the Daily Planet. Uh-huh. Thank you. She'll be right on. Here you are.
Okay, thanks. Hello, Miss Williams. This is Clark Kent. Well, I'm sorry to disturb you, but What was that?
Oh, gosh.
I see. Yes, I'll hold on.
Mr. Kent is...
Take it easy, Jim. Dr. Henley has just come out of the operating room. It's all over.
All over? You mean Danny...
I mean the operation's all over. Miss Williams is finding out the result.
Oh, gosh.
All we can do now, Jim, is pray.
That's what I'm doing. I'm praying as hard as I can.
Lowering his head, Jimmy clasps his hands in his lap, his thin body tight and tense. Meanwhile, an odd scene is taking place in another part of the city. A scene that in a moment will bring this episode to a strange and startling climax.
Say, gang, if you should happen to help your mother with the weekend shopping, and if Mother should happen to need a new package or two of Kellogg's Pep, don't forget to remind her. because this sunny golden toasted cereal tastes a doggone swell. It's packed with real wide-awake flavor, so fresh and crisp that, well, you'll want to eat lots of it. And because Pep is good for you, too. Mom will tell you that. Why, your regular breakfast bowl full of Kellogg's Pep gives you your whole daily minimum need of good old sunshine vitamin D and more than twice as much of an energy vitamin B1 as sun-ripened whole wheat. What's more, Pep is the prize package that brings you those snappy new second series comic buttons all the gang's collecting. Real humdingers they are. Brilliant colored pictures of favorite comic strip characters. 18 different buttons in all to collect and to trade duplicates with your pals. So better get busy. Make sure Mom gets you some more Kellogg's Pep, because that's the only way you can get these thrilling comic buttons. You don't send in any money, not even a box stop. You get these swell prizes only in packages of P.E.P. Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, made by Kellogg, the greatest name in cereals.
While Clark Kent and Jimmy Olsen are waiting anxiously for word of the success or failure of the delicate operation on young Danny O'Neill, a strange scene is taking place far across the city. In a room of a penthouse, a room equipped as an office, Muggs, the juvenile gang leader responsible for both the fire on Morton Street and the brutal attack on Danny O'Neill, stands alone at one end of the room. Actually, he is not alone. Directly in front of him is a heavy plush curtain masking a wall, and behind the curtain is a man who, although unseen, is not unheard. His voice, thin, hard, and brittle, cuts through the curtain like a knife.
Answer me, you little fool. Why did you do it? Why did you attack that boy?
I figured he'd seen us and was going to snitch.
You're not supposed to figure. That's my job. You're supposed to take orders.
Yeah,
you
sure.
You realize what you've done? Hasn't it yet penetrated that thick skull of yours that if that boy dies, you'll go to the chair?
No, you said I get protection.
I said you'd get protection if you followed orders. Nobody told you to beat up that boy.
I only did it
How
because
many times have I told you that what we're trying to do is stir up trouble?
Yeah, I know.
You know nothing. If that boy dies, the organization I'm building here in Metropolis is ruined. We'll all have to get out of the city.
Why?
Why? Because when the police pick you up for murder and put the screws on you, you'll squeal.
They ain't gonna pick me up. They ain't gonna.
That's what you think. No, you're not leaving here until we know definitely whether the boy is dead or alive. If he's dead, the police won't get the opportunity to make you squeal.
Hey, wait. What are you talking like that for?
Because it's the only talk you understand.
Why don't you come out from behind that curtain and let me talk to you face to face? Why don't I never get to see you?
For a very good reason, Muggs, so that you'll never be in a position to identify me. I have important work to do. My job is to stir up hatreds and prejudices, to divide the people, so that when we're ready, we can step in and take over. We're out to make the Jew hate the Christian, and the Christian hate the Jew. We tell the Catholic the Protestant despises him, and we tell the Protestant the Catholic despises him. Do you understand?
Yeah, sure.
That's why I can't take any chances. My work must go on, even if it means forever silencing your tongue. If that boy dies, you will have to be eliminated.
No.
So start praying, Muggs. Get down on your knees and pray that he lives.
Panic-stricken, his face chalk white, Muggs drops to his knees. And so, by a strange twist of fate, in widely separated sections of Metropolis, two youngsters, Jimmy Olsen, boy reporter, and Muggs, a pool-room tough, are praying for the same thing, the life of Danny O'Neill. There is only one difference. On Muggs' lips, the prayer becomes a mockery. What will happen? Well, now that we've at least heard the cold, brittle voice of the man behind what may be a reign of terror, anything can happen. And almost everything does in this tense, exciting story of Superman's greatest battle, the fight against hate and prejudice. So be sure to listen Monday, same time, same station, when suddenly and unexpectedly, Superman finds himself in trouble in the episode entitled The Trap.
And remember, for breakfast, it's Pep.
For excitement, it's the adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Comic Magazine and brought to you Monday through Friday by Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal. Say, how about being a pal to your dog like he is to you? Sure, do him a good turn. Treat him to Kellogg's Grow Pup dog food. It beats all how many dogs give Grow Pup the glad eye. It's so full of meaty flavor, and there are 3 different kinds to pick from. There's Grow Pup Ribbon, Grow Pup Meal, and Grow Pup Pellets. You can give your dog the kind he likes best because they all have what it takes to help keep him right on the beam. For lots of muscle, for strong bones and teeth, ask Mother to base your dog's diet on Kellogg's Grow Pup every day. And be sure to be with us on Monday for the thrilling adventures of Superman. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
And now, it's a Condensed Bat-Supe Extra Helping, because sometimes justice is served up in a courtroom. This extra helping features a delightful Thanksgiving episode of the Jack Benny Program, as originally presented on November 30th, 1947.
The Lucky Strike program starring Jack Benny with Barry Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, Sunday night is a great night for comedy on NBC. One of the outstanding comedians is Fred Allen.
What?
However, it's too early for Allen, so I bring you his closest friend, Jack Benny.
Thank you. Hello again. This is Jack Benny talking, and Don, Rose Bowl tummy. Look, I'd like to ask you something. After all these years, how can you imply that Fred Allen and I are such close friends?
Well, Jack, last year when we were in New York, Allen told me personally that of all the friends he has, if he tried to borrow money, you'd be the closest.
Fred Allen said that?
Yes, Jack, he certainly did.
Well, Don, I'm the kind of a man who likes to give credit where credit is due. And that joke deserves at least 5 seconds of silence. Will you people in the audience please bear with us?
And that isn't all Allen said. He told me that...
Don, Jack isn't back yet.
Well, where is he?
Well, the bells were ringing. He was out in the audience telling good humor.
I was not. You're just as bad as Allen with those stingy jokes about me.
Oh, Jack, it isn't only Fred Allen. Everybody is talking about how cheap you are. Even I'm embarrassed.
What?
Look what happened last Saturday night at the Brown Derby.
Mary.
You ordered a bowl of noodle soup and ate it right down to the last spoonful.
Well?
Then you caught a fly, threw it in the soup, and refused to pay for it.
Now, Mary, look.
And that was a fine thing he did at the football game last week. Everybody else bought a pennant, but not you.
What'd he do, Mary?
He painted USC on his toupee and tied it on a stick.
Well, I had the winning team, didn't I? Believe me.
Yeah, but if you dyed green for Notre Dame, I'll punch you right in the nose.
If you hadn't hesitated before green, you'd have had a great joke there. Anyway, sister, you're dimming my Christmas spirit. Now, let's get on with the... Come in.
Mr. Benny, I'm from Coronet Magazine, and we want to express our appreciation to you for being our quiz editor this month.
Well, I was glad to do it.
You were selected because you are a man who always tells the truth.
Of course.
Now we'd like some information for our files.
Anything at all. What is it you want to know?
How old are you?
Well, how old would you say I look?
Oh, I'd say about 38.
Thank you.
Do you mind if I borrow your handkerchief?
Why?
The wind is blowing through this hole in my head.
What? Get out of here! I don't know why it is. On other shows, when someone knocks on the door, it's a guest star. On my show, it's always an idiot.
I'll be right with you, Jackson.
I wasn't calling you. But as long as you're here, Phil, snap into it and give us a band number.
Now, wait a minute, Jackson. Wait a minute. From now on, you just don't stand there and tell me to play a band number. You request a musical selection.
What?
Then if the maestro is in the mood, he will acquiesce.
Phil, are you winking at me, or did you lose the toothpick that was holding your left eye open?
I didn't lose nothing, Jackson. I'm just classy now. Didn't you notice what happened at the opening of the show?
Notice what?
I was leading a band without a stick.
Well, 3 cheers and a tiger for you. Without a stick, huh?
Certainly, it's much more dignified now that I'm like the other great musicians, Stokowski or Toscanini or Spumoni.
I knew if he talked long enough, he'd hit the jerk pot. I was sure. Phil, Spumoni is an Italian ice cream.
Oh, thank heaven. I thought I said a naughty word.
No, Phil, you're in the clear. There was nothing naughty there, unless... No, ice cream is ice cream, no matter how you look at it. And, Phil, as far as your music is concerned...
Don't pick on my music, Jackson. I've got enough to do. I got to come to the studio, rehearse the script, and I got to rehearse the band, and on top of that, I got to write my own music.
You mean you make your own arrangements?
Certainly, but if you paid me enough, I could hire a guy to come down and fix them up a little. You know, one good note here and there makes a lot of difference.
Phil, one good note in your arrangement is like throwing a rose into a barrel of Roquefort. Now, anyway, hey, where's Dennis? It's time for his song.
Well, he hasn't come in yet, Jack.
Well, Don, while we're waiting, let's have the quartet do a commercial.
Hey, Jackson, if you want to hear something good, me and the quartet have worked up a number that's dynamite.
Did you and the sportsman prepared a commercial?
Sure. Didn't we, fellas? Didn't we, fellas?
Did you, fellas? You see, I'm boss here, Phil. Well, go ahead. Let's hear it.
Okay. Won't you come with me to Alabama? Let's go see my dear old mammy. She's smoking Luckies and broiling hammy. That's what I like about the South. Down with Swanee River flows, down where that fine tobacco grows, where every man is a man who knows. That's what I like about the South. If you love me like I love you, send me Lucky's PDQ. Raw, raw, raw for SMU. That's what I like about the South.
Then we'll go to Tennessee. That's the place for you and me. They smoke LSMFT. That's what I like about the South.
Take one, Jackson. Won't you come with me to Old St. Joe, where they love me but the Lucky's Mo, so free and easy on the dro. That's what I like about the South.
Even down on Basin Street, they would rather smoke than eat, because Lucky Strikes are hard to beat, and that's what I like about the South. Don?
Funny thing about an Eskimo, they only smoke in the evening glow, but the nights are 6 months long, you know, and that's what I like about the North.
I'd rather be in Dixieland, because in that field that looks so grand, with a big tobacco leaf in my hand, that's what I like about the South.
Here's Happy Boone with all the news, Speedy rigged in his button shoes, and Lucky Strike is the one they choose. That's what I like about the South.
Well, yes, sir. Say, Phil, did you write that number all by yourself?
I certainly did, Jackson.
Wrote the music, arranged it, and everything? I mean, nobody helped you?
No, I did it myself.
Well, now you know what I mean by Roquefort. I can't understand why Dennis isn't here.
Well, I haven't seen him since we had Thanksgiving dinner at your house.
That's funny.
Hey, Jackson, maybe the kid ate too much turkey and got sick.
No, he couldn't have. There were 16 of us at the table, and I still have half the turkey left.
There were 28 of us, and you still have 3/4 of the turkey left.
What?
Nobody but you would think of putting sleeping pills in the stuffing.
Oh, stop, will you? See, I can't understand where Dennis is.
You want me to go out and look for him?
Yeah, see if you can. Dennis, when did you come in?
Just now.
Why are you so late?
Well, I had to wait for my mother. She took me downtown to buy a suit with 2 pair of pants.
Well, why did your mother have to go along?
The suit was for her.
For her? Dennis, your mother wears a man's suit?
Well, she used to wear a dress, but one day while she was working, her heel got caught in the hem. She fell down the ladder and dropped all the bricks.
Dennis, you mean your mother's a hot carrier? Why didn't your father do that kind of work?
Well, he has to stay home and do the cooking and sewing.
Well, that certainly is a mixed-up family. Your mother wearing men's clothes and your father in an apron.
Yeah, when I was born, a doctor didn't know which one to take to the hospital.
Dennis.
Lucky for me, he took my mother.
Dennis, what makes you so silly?
Oh, I don't think he's silly, Jack. I think he's cute.
You're cute too, Mary. And if you ever think of getting married, my phone number is Gladstone 1975.
1975.
If a man answers, it's my mother.
Dennis, if Mary was thinking of getting married, it wouldn't be to you. You're just a kid.
Oh, I'm not a kid anymore. My father told me all about the birds and bees.
What?
The birds are the ones with the wings.
Dennis, the bees have wings, too.
Don't get vulgar.
Dennis, do me a favor. Let's have your song, will you?
Okay.
Can't understand how he got two shows. How he ever got a father and mother.
Lately, whenever you hold me, you don't hold me tight. Don't you love me anymore? Lately, I've had to remind you to kiss me goodnight. Don't you love me anymore? I remember when I used to thrill you to the sky. Now I noticed when we kiss, you don't even close your eyes. Maybe I'm just being silly to feel like I do. Am I the one that you adore? Or don't you love me anymore? Now I notice when we kiss, you don't even close your eyes. Maybe I'm just being silly to feel like I do. Am I the one that you adore? Or don't you love me
Don't You Love Me Anymore, sung by Dennis Day, and very good, Dennis.
Thanks, Mr. Benny. Before I forget, my mother told me to thank you for inviting me to your dinner last Thursday.
Well, you were very welcome. And by the way, kids, all of you, I meant to tell you, you almost didn't have that turkey for dinner.
What do you mean, Jack?
Well, somehow I didn't have the heart to kill it. As a matter of fact, it was the day before Thanksgiving. The turkey was out in the yard, and it was getting late. Look at her, Rochester. She's certainly a fine-looking turkey. Gee, we've had her almost a week now. I know, she seems to know us. Well, it's got to be killed. Here, Rochester, here's a hatchet.
Yep, we got to do it. Here's the hatchet, boss.
Yes, sir. If it's got to be done, it's got to be done. Here's the hatchet, Rochester.
No use wasting time. That's what we're out here for. Here's the hatchet, boss.
I'll tell you what, Rochester. I'll toss a coin to see who does it. Heads, it's you. Here, I'll toss this quarter. Here goes. Where did it go? Where's the quarter?
The turkey swallowed it.
What?
Boss, boss, we're with the hatchet, not with your bare hands.
I was just trying to stop her from swallowing it. Now, Rochester, let's not fool around anymore. Now, take the hatchet and chop the turkey's head off.
But, boss, isn't there an easier way to do it? Why don't we kill it like Mr. Harris killed his turkeys?
Oh, does Mr. Harris kill turkeys a special way?
Yeah, he feeds them a quart of bourbon and lets them hiccup themselves to death.
You mean he gives the turkey a quart of bourbon?
On Thanksgiving, Mr. Harris wants everybody to be happy.
Well, that's silly. How can the turkey be happy? His body will soon be in the oven roasting.
Yeah, but his head will be out in the yard smiling.
Oh, fine. Well, we're not going to waste any bourbon on this turkey. Look, Rochester, we've stalled long enough. Now I'm going to the house, so you kill it.
But, boss, I hate to.
Well, I'm not happy about it either, but it's got to be done. Now go ahead. All this fuss over killing a turkey. But then, you do get kind of attached to them. I remember I brought her home Saturday. And every morning she laid an egg. If she could give milk, too, I'd have let her live. But then, what have I got to lose? At least this way I get food and a duster. But I'm sure going to miss her. She was kind of cute. I don't know, she'd all...
Well, boss, it's all over.
You mean?
Yeah. Say, boss, I wonder what gobble, 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 gobble means.
Why?
Those were her last words.
Well, don't worry about it, Rochester. It had to be done. I'm going into the den and lie down. I'm kind of tired, anyway. Well, it'll be good to lie down a while. See, I'm tired after all the work I've done. I hope the gang enjoys the Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow. Thanksgiving is one of my favorite holidays. But it's not like it used to be. I remember when I was a kid back in Waukegan. My father and I used to go out in that big forest and shoot a turkey. Just think, that's where Chicago is now. I hated to make Rochester kill that turkey. It was my fault, too. I didn't want to do it. Yeah, I feel like I'm falling asleep. Maybe I better take my hat off. I didn't want to kill that turkey. I didn't want to kill that turkey. I didn't want to kill that turkey.
Order in the court. Order in the court.
Court? Where am I? Where am I?
Order in the court. Now the case of the Gobblers of Los Angeles County versus Jack Benny.
Wait a minute. What am I being tried for?
You are charged with murder.
Murder? Wait a minute. This is a mistake. I didn't murder anybody. Who did I murder?
You murdered my daughter.
But you're a turkey. And look, the jury. They're all turkeys, too.
Everybody rise, please. His Honor, the judge.
Judge? How can you be the judge? You're a turkey, aren't you?
Well, what do you think I am with this worm in my mouth? An apple?
What? But, Your Honor, if you're the judge, why aren't you on the bench? Why are you sitting over there?
My wife went shopping, and it's my turn to sit on the nest.
Oh.
Whoops! Congratulate me. I'm a father. And now let's get on with the trial. The prosecution will present its first witness.
Will the first witness please take the stand? Your name?
Tallulah Turkey.
You promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Tell her to uncross her legs. She's influencing the jury. Imagine her coming into court wearing those short feathers.
Now, Mrs. Turkey, when was the last time you saw your daughter?
When she went out with that man over there, and she lost her head completely.
That's a corny gag.
It ain't bad for a turkey.
Order in the court. Order in the... Whoops, that's twins. Won't Mama be surprised when she comes home?
Will the next witness please take the stand? You are here as a character witness, sir. What is your name?
My name is Fred Allen.
Your occupation?
I'm a comedian.
That's a lie. I object.
Order in the court. Order in the court.
Now, Mr. Allen, how long have you known the defendant?
74 years.
Just a minute, Mr. Allen. You're not that old.
When you know a man like Benny, you try to hurry up and die.
Now, wait a minute.
That will be all, Mr. Allen. Your testimony has... Whoops! That's 3 down and 1 to go. And now will the defendant please take the stand?
Yes, and I'll say plenty.
Your name?
Jack Benny.
Your occupation?
Radio comedian.
Your wage?
38.
What?
Oh, my age. Well, that's a personal matter.
Now, isn't it true that on the afternoon of November the 26th, you did murder with drumstick aforethought Miss Tilly Turkey?
Yes. But since when is it a crime to kill a turkey?
The prosecution will present its next witness.
Yes, sir. Your name, please.
Mr. Kitzel.
Now, Mr. Kitzel, in the course of your employment in a poultry market, isn't it true that you sold the defendant a turkey?
Look, Mr. Benny is a very good friend of mine. I don't like to say anything that's going to hurt him.
Well, how long have you been friends?
Since before he murdered the turkey.
Mr. Kitzel, quiet. Now, about this turkey you sold the defendant, was she nice and plump?
She was beautiful.
Oh? Then she was very well rounded.
Her pictures was banned in Boston.
Now, Mr. Kitzel, we want an identification of the deceased turkey. How much did she weigh?
I think 29 pounds.
You think she weighed 29 pounds, don't you know?
Wait, I'll ask my assistants. Say, boys.
They're not his assistants. That's my quartet. What's the matter with everybody? Are they crazy?
Boys, how much did Mr. Benny's turkey weigh?
What kind of a trial is this?
She was the turkey of 29 pounds. In the barnyard she made all the rounds. Now there were 29 chickens as crazy as the dickens of the turkey of 29 pounds. She left 29 broken eggs. She had feathers all over her legs. And brother, I am not bluffing. You ought to see the stuffing in the turkey of 29 pounds. She was a gobbling baby. A new kind of bird from the west. She'll make wonderful gravy. If you're not careful, it's on your breast. She ate 29 bushels of corn. Since the 29 weeks she was born. She looks so lovely on your table with her legs like Betty Grable. She's the turkey of 29 pounds. Oh, gobble, gobble, the turkey of 29 pounds.
Turkeys of the jury, you've heard the evidence. What is your verdict?
We find the defendant, Jack Benny, guilty of murder.
Don Wilson! Let's get him, kids. Get away from me! Get away from me, do you hear? Stay away from me! Take your claws out of my wrist.
Boss, wake up! Wake up! It's me!
Huh? Oh. Oh, it's you, Rochester. See what a dream I just had. Dreamed a bunch of turkeys were eating me. I could feel them. One of them kept biting me and biting me.
Well, boss, you should never go to sleep with your teeth in your pocket.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's tough enough when we grown-ups have problems. But when our children are the victims of circumstances we are responsible for, that's unforgivable. I'm referring to what is happening in our schools today. Thousands of underpaid teachers are being forced to leave their profession to enter better-paying fields. Now, we can correct this situation by being active in the Parent Teachers Association, local school boards, and getting to know the individual teachers better. So let's support our teachers and take an active interest in their welfare. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, be sure to listen to the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show on Sundays and A Day in the Life of Dennis Day on Wednesday. Well, kids, I'm glad you all enjoyed the Thanksgiving dinner, and oh, darn it, I just remembered something. I forgot to invite Norman Krasna. I better call him up and apologize and ask him to dinner tonight.
Norman Krasna's residence.
I'd like to speak to Mr. Krasna, please. This is Jack Benny.
I'm sorry, but Mr. Krasna's busy at the moment. Could I give him a message?
Yes, I'd like you to find out if he can go out to dinner with me tonight.
Just a moment, I'll ask him. Hello?
Hello, what did Mr. Krasna say? Good, but tell him 8 o'clock. Goodbye.
Well, that'll wrap up another edition of Condensed Bat-Supe, featuring parts 3 and 4 of the Hate Mongers organization from the Adventures of Superman. Thanks for listening. Be sure to tell your friends to subscribe to Bat-Supe on their favorite podcatcher. We can also be found on YouTube and Facebook. Like what you're hearing? You can always support Bat-Supe at buymeacoffee.com. Surf into buymeacoffee.com/BATSUPE. Learn more at bat-supe.podbean.com. We'll see you next time for another exciting edition of Condensed Bat-Supe, as we bring you more of our current storyline and another fine Bat-Supe Extra Helping. Until then, up, up, and away!
Democracy. As everyone knows, democracy means many things. Self-rule of the people, a higher standard of living, freedom of speech, press and religion, rights and privileges, liberty. But the most vital promise of democracy is mankind's right to dignity. For it is through the dignity of man that democracy has given mankind its greatest legacy of freedom.
This is Superman, gang. I want to remind you that tomorrow is Election Day, a mighty important day to every good citizen. Now, of course, you can't vote until you're old enough. But here's something you can do. Help make sure your mother and father can get out to vote. And you could help with the dishes or around the house, run errands, and show your parents that you're interested, too, in the right and duty of every American citizen to cast his vote on Election Day.